guys, it's Emma, and I'm back today for you with another video. And as you can tell from the title above, today is going to be a rant review, children, all right? And this rant review is going to be on American Psycho by Bret, Easton, Ellis. This is a story about Patrick Bateman, a man who works by day on Wall Street and by night is a psychopathic murderer. This rant review is not going to be a normal rant review, okay? Because today we're drinking, all right? I just don't have the wherewithal, I think, to do this video anything less than. Today we are going to be talking about why I hate American Psycho. With this glass of wine in mind, did I finish this book completely sober? No. Did I skim this book towards the end? Yes. I'm gonna read out the trigger warnings and let's play a little drinking game for it, okay? Let's drink, just take a sip of your alcoholic drink, your non-alcoholic drink. Don't drink and drive, don't be stupid. For every single trigger warning that we have here, okay? Just a sip. We got slurs against everyone, addiction, alcohol, and opioid, racism, sexism, mentions of rape and depictions of rape, threats and depictions of murder, gore and mutilation, torture, animal abuse and death, homophobia, and last but certainly not least, anti-Semitism. The reigning question of this review is, can Emma do this review? Can Emma finish this review without getting plastered? And quite honestly, you're just gonna have to watch and see. This is a rant review, all right, which means we're gonna probably be getting heated and spoilery, so obviously, if you don't want to get spoiled, I'd probably recommend clicking out of this video right now. And also, since we're drinking red wine, girlies, you know it's gonna get heated, okay? So I do apologize for any amount of cussing that I do, all right, because I know that does infuriate some people. However, you call it cussing, I call it sentence enhancements. That's just how we roll here. With that in mind, I do not mean any hate towards the author or to any fans of this book. If you like this book, that's great, all right? You obviously found something that I didn't, all right, which I applaud you for, quite frankly. These opinions are strictly my own. They are strictly subjective. And if you agree with any of these things that I'm going to rant about in this video, let me know down below. With that being said, grab your drinks, again, alcoholic or non, and let's jump right into it. We're gonna start with the pros, all right? Because I did, admittedly, have some pros for American Psycho. And many, if not all of them, have to do with the writing itself. All of the pros that I have are within the first 100 and 150 pages. The writing style was crafty. Like the prose, the writing style in and of itself, that was what I loved about the first 100 and 150 pages of American Psycho. It was great. It was crafty, it was tricksy. We are shown Patrick's psychopathic, sociopathic tendencies by how he describes people only by like the brands that they're wearing. I think the most personal that he gets when describing somebody is whether or not their hair is slicked back. And then the stream of consciousness narrative that Bret, Easton, Ellis uses in this, it kind of fortifies the blank slatedness of Patrick Bateman in and of himself, because he is a blank slate, all right? This dude has little to no emotion except for maybe greed and disgust. And that's about it, all right? And also, I feel like it fortifies the fact that he is so nonchalant about all the stuff that happens to him. Because in here, his girlfriend, or no, his fiance, I forget about that, oh Lord. His fiance and his best friend are like having an affair, and he knows, right? And he's just like, he says it so nonchalantly. He goes something along the lines of, yeah, I know Evelyn and Tim are having an affair, but, and then he goes on to switch to the next conversation topic. And I'm like, your fiance and your coworker are having an affair, dude. We're not gonna gloss over that like you didn't just say it. It's the nonchalantness. It's the blank slatedness of himself that is just so chilling and eerie. And then the like pacing of the writing was really well done. At the very beginning, we didn't get any notifications that Patrick was going to be a serial killer, right? But then slowly it started to reveal itself by him like just all of a sudden being like, I want to kill you and pick your bones. And then going right back to normal everyday conversation. And then like, you know, that would happen sparingly at first, but then happen more and more as we went into the story. And that was so good as like a slow reveal to, okay, wait a minute. This guy might just not be the guy that I thought he was gonna be. This guy may not be as stable as we thought. And then Patrick is also an unreliable narrator. All right, I forget, quite honestly, how interesting unreliable narrators can be, especially when they're done well. All right, because he constantly misnames people. He constantly goes, hey, isn't that Barry Goldman from Goldman and Sachs? And, you know, his friends will be like, no, Pat, that's obviously, you know, da-da-da-da from whatever, or da-da-da-da from you know who. And he just kind of like brushes past that, and it happens over and over and over again to where it's like, okay, is this actually happening how we are being told it's happening? And then pretty much every single female character that comes across Patrick, he immediately assumes is in love with him, like his assistant, maybe one or two girls that he meets at a bar, and it's just like, dude. And then the whole thing is a satire on yuppie culture, or 80s culture in general, I should say. Like, remember how I was talking about how Patrick really only describes people by what they're wearing? It's more so the brands. It's not what type of clothes they're wearing. It's the brands, Armani and everything like that. And then the subject of conversation between not only Patrick and himself, but Patrick and his friends is very fast. It's very quick. It's very disjointed almost. Kind of like how I was talking about how he doesn't really pay that much attention to his fiance's and his co-worker's affair, and then he'll go like right on to the next subject of conversation. It's very almost vapid, and in my opinion it really contributes to how just vapid and vain all of these people are. Like, not only Patrick, but all of his friends, all of his co-workers, who are all in an incestuous relationship with one another because they all share each other's partners. Weird. Last thing that I thought was really cool about this, about the writing, was that it's under transgressive fiction, which I looked it up, and I can't remember the definition word for word, and I do apologize for that. However, transgressive fiction, it's basically where the main character is trying to break out of the norms of society that society is pushing on them. And the way I translated this, and I might be wrong, but the way I translated this is that Patrick is basically always thought of as the dope, or as the boy next door, or as the one that is always like there to be counted on, and I think he's sick of that. And so maybe this isn't the reason why he became a serial killer, but I think he chooses to break out of that mold by killing people. And I think that's interesting to think about. With that out of the way, now we are going to talk about the cons. Everybody, you might want to refill your glasses for this, okay? Because holy shit, was this book boring. Nothing, and I mean nothing, nada, nothing, nilch, zero, zip happens in this book other than the writing. The writing tricks that I loved, that I appreciated so much in the first 100 and 150 pages, there's a reason why I said those specific numbers, honeycomb, all right, were overused and redundant by the time that I was done with page 399. All right, one page shy of 400 pages, and honestly, this book probably could have survived and been perfectly fine, honestly, probably even better as 100 or 150 pages. This dragged on substantially. All right, it was gut-wrenching how bored this made me. I don't care that Pat has an overextensive face care routine. I don't care that Pat has an overextensive hair care routine. I don't care about what suits Pat is wearing at this point in time. I don't care what his apartment looks like. I don't care that he has to wait 20 minutes on the Stairmaster. All right, Pat, everybody has to. All right, I know you're used to getting your way because you work in Wall Street, but honeycomb, that's just not how it works for everybody. I remember I was like reading 1-star reviews to try and see, okay, does anybody else feel the way I do? Because I need some camaraderie here. I need it. And I saw this one reviewer that said something about the fact that this book is genred under splatter porn, which girlfriend, all I have to say to that is, shouldn't splatter porn, whether or not it be a good or disturbing feeling of engagement, shouldn't splatter porn be in some way, some shape or form of engaging? I would have rather drug my big toenail across bare concrete than have to put any more of my time into this book. And yeah, I skimmed. And what of it? All right, listen, there was an entire chapter on Phil Collins, on Genesis, all right? And the only time I want to even rant or hear a rant about Phil Collins is when you better be talking about Tarzan or Brother Bear. Otherwise, I'm not reading your rant about Genesis. All right, I skimmed over that entire chapter. And sure, it might have had some sort of significance to it. I didn't catch it. And honestly, it drove me to wonder not only why this was a cult classic, but why this had a cult following. Now, House of Leaves, I can understand why that has a cult following. And I may be biased because I loved House of Leaves. And if I am, I acknowledge it. However, why this is a cult classic and why this has a following, I don't really understand. Is it because of the rule breaking and the violence against women? If so, that's something to unpack for another day. Also, it was to the point where I was like, all right, take a shot every single time you hear the words gazelle skin or hard body. Damn near every woman that he met was a hard body. Damn near every woman that he met was in love with him, all right? And he always had to pull out his gazelle skin wallet just in case any peasants, any poors forgot, all right? Because we were not meddling with the poors. We were not. Not unless they knew how rich we were and that we worked at Pierce & Pierce. And like I said, this book could have lived, survived, prospered, frankly, I'm sure, as 150 pages long, all right? The great Herschel Walker once said regarding trees, a lot of money is going to trees. Don't we have enough trees around here? In my opinion, in my humble opinion, not enough money was put into stopping less than 5% of an entire tree from being made into this book. I gave American Psycho 1 star via overflowing redundancy, all right? Nothing of value was put onto any of these pages past page 100 or 150, whichever one you want to choose, all right? I'm just saying. I watched the movie thinking, all right, is the movie where the hype is? My educated answer after viewing, no. Because first of all, I watched a movie willingly with jump scared Leto in it, all right? I was maybe over a little bit of an hour into it, and the most disturbing part of that movie was the fact that Gene didn't know who Ted Bundy was. Bitch, you're in the 80s and you don't know who Ted Bundy is? Natural selection, all right? I'm sorry, not even Christian Bale could save that movie for me, and he's one of my favorite actors. All right, and he couldn't even save that flop of a movie for me. Honestly, it wasn't as boring as the book, but it was still boring enough to make me want to put my own head on a stick.
What her head would look like on a stick.
So you guys, that was my rant review of American Psycho by Bret, Easton, Ellis. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that maybe this didn't turn you off from watching this video, okay? It was really fun for me to be able to do this. No, I did not in fact stay sober enough to review this book, and that I feel is telling. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you liked this book, let me know why down below, and if you don't like this book, like me, let me know why down below. And with that being said, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video, that you guys will stay tuned for any more videos that I upload on my channel, that you guys are staying safe, and that you guys have a good rest of your day. Drink responsibly, people, all the time. Okay? Goodbye.